Hi, everyone. I want to take a minute to recognize and celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Every year, I so look forward to joining people at events all across the 2nd District to remember and honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year is a little different because of the pandemic. We have to talk virtually, but nonetheless, it's important that we gather. You know, we have so many challenges, unprecedented challenges facing our country, from the COVID-19 pandemic to the challenge to our democracy that we witnessed last week with the attack on the Capitol. Martin Luther King's legacy is more important than ever before. This was also a challenging year because we lost my good friend and somebody who worked incredibly closely with Dr. King, Congressman John Lewis. I miss him a lot. You know, John Lewis dedicated his life to making good trouble, and he almost lost his life in his fight for voting rights. You know, we all watched with horror the events of last week. I was there. I was in the Speaker's chair presiding over the House of Representatives as we were upholding our constitutional responsibilities of counting the Electoral College vote. People were banging on the doors of the chamber. I could hear screaming. I was asked to evacuate the chamber. I was one of the last people out, and as I was walking out, I could see this angry mob, you know, trying to get access to the House floor. I looked at their faces and I literally saw evil. These people weren't here to make a political point. They were here to destroy things, to destroy the building, and to harm people. To see the Confederate flag being walked through the Capitol, desecrating this sacred building, our temple of freedom and liberty, it literally made me sick to my stomach. This is a building that was built by slaves, rebuilt by their children and grandchildren, and dedicated to the principles and ideals purchased in the blood, sweat, and tears of countless civil rights organizers who worked to expand the definition of our democracy to include everyone. Now, let's not kid ourselves about what caused this riot. This was not just about Donald Trump's big lie that somehow the election was stolen. We all know that that was a lie. But this was also about hate and white supremacy and evil. You know, it's no secret that the places where Donald Trump was questioning the vote count are places with large shares of black voters that came out in force for Joe Biden. According to an NBC News analysis of voting patterns in cities and suburbs in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin, the black voters, who comprise nearly 40% of the population in those areas, overwhelmingly chose Biden. You know, Trump's candidacy started with the racist lie that President Obama was not born in America. It's no surprise that he is ending his time in office by trying to subvert the will of black voters who rejected him at the ballot box. You know, one way we can heal this country is acknowledging that the election fraud was a lie. Another way is acknowledging the realities of racism. We can and we must do better to fight back against injustice and bigotry. I have hope for this country because I think things will get better. I really do. To quote Martin Luther King, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil, triumphant. You know, his words have never been more important than today. Let me just close by saying to everybody that we have a lot of work to do. You know, sometimes I worry that on these Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations, we talk about all of his great accomplishments as if the work is done. Well, we know that that's not true, and that was clear as when we look what happened last week. We have real challenges of systemic racism in this country. By the way, and I say that not to divert attention from the fact that we have systemic racism right in our own communities here. We have to do better. We have to be unafraid to have uncomfortable conversations, and we have to fight harder than ever to make sure that our laws reflect our best traditions, or as Abraham Lincoln said, the better angels of our nature. We can and we must do better. So on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, let us say nice things about Dr. King and remember all of the wonderful things he accomplished, but let us recommit ourselves to action, because the weeks and the months and the years ahead are going to be challenging, and they're going to require all of us, like-minded people of goodwill, to come together and to fight to make this country better. Thank you.